Welcome back to the channel, and today we've got something interesting to test that I had already tested before, but I've received some recent comments that make me think something may have changed, but I don't know. I don't know if it's true or not. So in my recent supersonic tank tracks video, I failed to break the sound barrier with 2 out of 3 of the tank tracks, and I got a handful of comments telling me that apparently trailing aerodynamics matters in air. Now, I've always known for a long time that trailing aerodynamics is incredibly important for underwater vehicles. So as you can see with this super basic sub, you can see I cap out going around, if I'm going horizontal and not falling, around 66 kilometers an hour, 67 kilometers an hour. But if I just add some aero to the back of this thing, not the front, but just the back, you can see I'm already like just way above. I'm at 76 now. And if I was to add even more to the back here, just like that, look at that. Now I'm breaking 80. And of course, this also matters in the front too. If I add some of these to the front, then I should go even faster. So now we're at 88. So once upon a time, I saw this effect underwater and thought trailing aerodynamics just mattered overall. And then I had a bunch of people telling me that it doesn't make a difference on land. So I tested it. I don't remember how long ago that was, but I did test it and found that it didn't matter on land. But now I get comments for the first time in a very long time telling me that the trailing aero matters on land. So this video is gonna find out whether or not I'm being lied to, or if we have some new physics that I was unaware of with how this game functions. So let's head into the test zone, and we're gonna see if trailing aerodynamics matters. And if it does, I might have to try breaking the sound barrier with the tank tracks again. All right, so I want to keep this super simple. I don't want to be going super fast. We don't need to see the effect. So I'm going to keep very bad aerodynamics in the front. The key is we don't change the front aerodynamics between tests at all. We only change the back aerodynamics. So let's get ourselves 2 of these thrusters. Actually, I'm going to go with these thrusters. They're a little bit more powerful. We're going to attach them to the side of the vehicle. Now let's see, are we stable? And what is our max speed? We should have a terminal velocity with how bad our aero is. We're actually going a lot faster than I expected. This is going to be the easiest test ever. This might be a pretty short video. All right. Clearly, 314 kilometers an hour is our terminal velocity. If I add wedges to the back of this thing and we break 314 kilometers an hour, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be a big deal. Also, if I don't break 314 kilometers an hour, I don't know what to do with the rest of this video. So I hope you guys weren't lying to me in the comments there. I don't know where you guys got the information from. I checked the Frozen Tracks update list, and it didn't say anything about trailing aero. But we're adding these to the back. 314. Let's see if it changes things. We're worse now, presumably because we have more weight and friction. I don't know why some people are so confidently wrong in the comments. I don't know where they got this from, but they were definitely wrong. We have retested and reconfirmed that trailing aero does not have the same effect or any effect on the land as it does on the water. Now, you know what? Maybe I did the test wrong. I know if I stop this right now, there's gonna be a bunch of people saying, well, you didn't try this, and you didn't try this, and you didn't try this. So let's super confirm that this is not a real effect in air. We know it is in water, okay? But water and air are not treated the same here, apparently. Let's try not a rocket-based vehicle. What about a wheel-based vehicle? Is it going to matter? Because at least with this vehicle, friction, like block friction on the ground, isn't going to make a difference. So I'm going to give myself purposely worse aero in the back like this, which underwater, this would make a big difference. Like if I turn this vehicle around You can see we got all this red here. If I didn't have these, then actually there would still be red here. So that does matter. But that would be very, very bad. So let's see. This is actually kind of an old school looking car here. I kind of like this. We're just going to go in a straight line. We'll see what speed we cap out at. All right, we're getting there pretty quick. We're at 234. 234, kind of like that. And we're stuck there. All right, here's something I'm going to try. So 234 was the no arrow speed. Now, if I do this in the front, we should be much faster than 234. Look at that. We just blew past 234 and we're at 260. So that is the more standard way of doing arrow. Add it to the front. 261. Now I'm just gonna move it to the back and get rid of the front. So remember, 234 was the is the speed to beat with added arrow to the back. Whoa! What? How did... Okay, this... I did not expect this result at all. It made a difference with wheels? As opposed to jets and friction? I guess the friction... Okay, I'm glad I did the test. The what ifs. The what ifs were gonna be correct in the comments. If I ended the video there, the what ifs were actually gonna be correct. I'm glad I did an alternative style of test because this is a result. All right, so hold on. We're at what? We're at 239. Did we reach 240? All right, 239. Okay, I think if that is really happening, if I add one more set here, will this get us to 240? It's a subtle change, but this should get us to 240 now. No way. It's a thing now? So when I did the thruster test, the extra ground contact friction must have actually offset the benefits of the aerodynamics, because although there is an aerodynamic effect, it is very small compared to the front aerodynamics. So the front aerodynamics got us to 261 or something. The back aerodynamics, even more back aerodynamics, only gets us up to 240. That is crazy. Well, that actually does confirm it. My first test was a bad test. All right, let's see if this... I'm actually kind of thankful because now I actually have a video. If I just did that first test, that would have been like, I don't know, short material, I guess, but not a full video. All right, let's bring out my medium... This is the large track version. I don't think I saved the medium track version. I think this is just the medium track version with large tracks. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure all I gotta do is this. All right, so we got these all right, let's, we need to get to a corner of the map. All right, let's spawn back in the middle. All right, so let's do a quick refresher. How fast did we get with this vehicle before hitting the corner of the map? So I'm gonna aim from corner to corner and we'll see what happens. All right, 1075. That's not too far away. Is trailing arrow gonna be enough to compensate for that amount of speed though? And also while I was going, I did kind of notice our back end was dragging a little bit. So I think I'm gonna add an engine to the front. I feel like this might not be the optimal version. I think we reduced engines to get better speed at one point, but I don't know. I'm just gonna go with this for now. So we got great arrow in the front, minus that, which we need to keep exposed to save friction because it sinks into the ground a bit. So I'll turn this around, and now we can see a bunch of points that we could potentially optimize arrow on. So we'll just go ahead and do that, and then we can even put these... Wait, does this need to be here? Is that doing anything, or is that just adding extra bad stuff? Oh, that was left over from the large track, I think. All right, so we get that here too, because that saves us this thing. These arrow gets replaced with better arrow. And then this is going to be a big deal too. So we'll put some 4x1 wedges on the back here as well. And then what about, oh, almost missed the back of these gyros. Oh, that's not attached. I guess I gotta go like this. There we go. All right, I think we have turned a lot of red arrows into green arrows on the back of this vehicle and added one more engine. Is this enough to get us a sound barrier brake with the medium tracks, which I just could not do before? All right, reconfirm that the front of our vehicle is also still sound. All right, looks good. Turn ourselves around. All right, here we go. I mean, this is definitely going to be new speed meta. I mean, I wonder, I don't even know how to find that video when I did this test before. I wonder if I did the test the same way where I didn't use wheels, or if it was different back then. But I thought even the common knowledge in the community, I thought, was that it doesn't matter in the air. It only matters underwater. So something seems to have changed, because I've never gotten comments about it mattering in the air until this video. All right, it looks like our back is still dragging, which is definitely a factor. It might be a worse factor, actually. We're going pretty slow right now. So I might need to add some more weight to the front. Or remove some weight from the back by removing engines. I don't know if that's helping. I don't know if removing or adding engines is better or worse at this stage. But this angle looks worse than it was, and it might be holding us back. We were at what? 1170? Was it 1171? We're going pretty slow, but it seems like we might... yeah, all right, well, we passed whatever that was last time. So it's an improvement. We definitely didn't break 1100 in the last test, so we're faster now, but we're hitting the edge well before 1200. 1116. All right, let's fix our balance issue. I'm gonna start with adding engines. And if we do worse than 1116, then I will take away engines to balance. All right, we are off. We are definitely looking more balanced so far, but when we pick up speed, that could change. All right, balance is looking good. The lack of friction should help, or less friction should help. And then also being flatter means less aerodynamic angles that could be catching and slowing us down. All right, we just broke our record. We're at 1125 now. That's still not enough. That is definitely not enough to break the sound barrier, and the increases that we're getting are so marginal. It's hard to imagine getting we need like another 100 kilometers an hour. So this is our best so far with the medium tracks. Let me just save this one, and I'm gonna go with the deleting tracks method, or not tracks, deleting engines method. And I'm gonna delete 4 engines from each side. But I think part of our issue is how much the tracks are sinking into the ground. All right, let's give this a try, see if it makes a difference. We were at 1125. We seem to be turning to the left somehow. I don't remember that happening before. I'm trying to like turn myself, but that's slowing me down. So this is like a botched test here. I don't know if our wedges are misaligned. They're like mirrored. Well, we're past 1125. Less engines has given us a little bit more, but that was terrible. We didn't get nearly as much map distance because we kept turning, which is weird because I didn't change anything shape-wise from the previous vehicle. All right, I'm gonna try something that I saw in the comments that I didn't want to have to do, but I think will solve our problem here. And I think our big problem is how much the tank tracks are sinking into the ground. So one of the suggestions I saw was to use something like a gimbal jet to kind of reduce the amount of weight on the ground. And I think it's still valid because it is not providing any forwards momentum or force at all. This is not helping us with our forward speed. All this is doing is making our vehicle, like lightening the load of our vehicle essentially. Yeah, so I'm here, and then if I hit that, it's a very subtle dip. Maybe I need to add a little bit more. They should also probably be centered on the center of mass, or at least as centered as I can. So now when I use those, so you can see that makes me rise up just a little bit, which could potentially give the tracks just better contact. But all of our forward power is still coming from the tracks. So let's just see what kind of difference this makes. Oh, that's making me lean back way more though. Because now we have a center of lift as well as a center of mass. I do kind of feel like I'm getting to 1,000 quicker than before. It's hard to tell though. My sense of time is a little... it's a little hard to keep track of in this void. I keep having to nudge the steering to keep myself straight. But we're past 11:30 and I don't see the edge yet. This is definitely an improvement. We might do it. We might actually do it right now. 1,200, our first 1,200, I think, with the medium ones. We still have this turning issue though. Oh, there it is. No, oh no, it's not. We were like 4 away. I saw 12.24, but I need 12.34. I think the problem right now... Wait. Am I stupid? Are these doing anything? These are just Those are just residuals from the big tracks. I didn't need those there. I was trying to optimize those, but I didn't need them at all. Hold on, we might be able to do this. I'm gonna delete these real quick. Could we have done this with the medium tracks the whole time? Without the gimbals? I assumed that I had those wedges there for this build, but that was for the big tracks. Because the big tracks are a block wider. I know now that I am going to break the sound barrier with the medium tracks. Whether or not I have to use the gimbal method is the current question. That's why we were asymmetrically turning, was because our vehicle wasn't symmetrical on the tracks. Oh, we're getting close. I don't know though. I don't know if we're gonna make it in time. We might need the gimbal assistance. 1170. I think we're gonna be there any second now. Oh, there's the edge. Almost 1,200. We got to 1,200 on the dot. I'm gonna try to reduce the engines. This is our best version yet. I will remove engines. I'm gonna remove 4 engines, 2 from the front, 2 from the back. There's this balance between engine power and engine weight. So can we break 1,200 with less engines? If we're less than 1,200, then we know that we've reduced our power more than the weight compensates for. All right, 1190. 1,200. No way. That was like the most perfect one too. I got distracted by the corner. I didn't see my final speed, but we did improve our speed with less engines. So let me just keep going with that until we go worse. All right, well, that was considerably worse. We didn't break 1,200. We didn't even get, I mean, we got to 1170. I guess that is close to 1,200. I guess it is close to 1,200, but in the grand scheme does not feel close. So a couple more engines is better. I'm gonna do one more test where instead of adding the 4 engines back that I deleted, I'm going to add 6 engines back total, which is kind of in the middle of the last 2 changes to see if that's an improvement at all. And then if this doesn't work, we resort to gimbal assistance for weight, and then it will happen. So I don't know if this works for you guys, but if I stare at the very front tip of my vehicle, but kind of be aware of all the lines flashing in my peripherals, if I do that for like 5 seconds and then I look at the sky, it gives this like Aurora Borealis kind of optical illusion in the sky. So that's how I'm keeping myself entertained while I wait to hit the wall at 1,207 kilometers an hour. All right, I'm gonna say that I'm happy with the engine count right now. Get back here. Let's add the gimbals and break the sound barrier, because I think now is the time. We're gonna do it. I'm just gonna add 3 of them, and let's hope for the best. It does give me this angle though, but I think it's not gonna matter. All right, 1,200. I don't see the edge of the map yet. 12.1, 12.2. Come on, come on, come on, come on. I'm starting to see the edges. 12.3, there it is. We finally did it. Breaking the sound barrier with the medium tracks, at least. I very, 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 very highly doubt I'm gonna be able to do it with the large tracks, but let me just see if it feels at all feasible. Yeah, this is why I had those other wedges there, was because of this thing. So we're gonna have a whole new set of aerodynamic efficiencies to add. So I believe these can go down by a block. And we can add some wedges here. Actually do upwards facing wedges just to give some more like lift to get us less on the ground. And then we also want to do the same thing in the rear. We actually need 3 of these because the tracks are wider. All right, so that's some good or better aero. And we need some there. And there. I'm offsetting these to kind of cancel each other out as far as the direction that they apply force. And this also has to happen in the back here. All right, so in the front, we only have these bad aero on the bottom. We have to make sure that the same applies for the back. All right, looking good. This is our best chance here. Let's see how much worse. Let's see just how much worse the large tank tracks end up being. We are getting the angle again. I probably could have moved my center of lifts more towards the back center. That may have been helpful. Let me try to straighten out on the grid here. All right, it looks like we are getting pushed towards the right with our, you know, asymmetry. So I'm gonna keep in mind. So I am gonna have to keep fighting that to try to get the most out of the map. But yeah, we're accelerating so slow right now. I think. I don't think we're gonna get close. I'll do one or two rounds of modifications on these, and if it doesn't seem like we're getting anywhere close, then I'll accept defeat on this one too. I am happy to have gotten a success on the medium tracks, at least with some of the helps from the comments. I mean, honestly, 900's not bad. Breaking 900's pretty good. All right, we got to like 960. My trajectory wasn't the straightest though. All right, so the modification I want to make is to add a few more gimbal thrusters and center them more on the center of mass there. And then swap these out. Not swap them out, but like swap their angles to try to fight the force I was getting to turn. Maybe that'll help. Well, I'm turning a lot already. We're starting to straighten out too as far as turning goes. Here, I'm going to straighten myself here. And now I'm not pressing anything. And oh, it seems like I did counter. I overcompensated on the steering. Yeah, that's limiting me way too much. We're doing worse. Actually, I don't know if we're doing worse. I forget what we did before. Oh, I just spawned in the middle, which is bad. But I wanted to add these more towards the back. All right, because of the asymmetry of this, no matter what I do with my wedges, it's too strong in one direction or the other. So either I turn left or I turn right, and even flipping a single wedge doesn't, like, there's no middle ground. So I think I'm just gonna have to deal with that being a feature of this build and do one last try here. And if it feels like we're not that close, then oh well. I did balance out my center of lift a little bit so you can see we're a lot more level. So that should at least help. But let's see how this goes. All right, we broke 1,000. So that is improvement, but I don't feel very close to being able to get above 1,200 with how slow we are accelerating right now. How's our balance look? Oh, we're starting to nose up a little bit, actually, interestingly enough, but we're right at the edge now. What a spectacular explosion. All right, so we have some new stuff to consider for optimal, super optimal speed builds. Trailing arrow isn't just a water thing anymore, but it is marginally effective in the air. It is pretty marginal, but it is a thing. So thanks for the comments for putting me onto that little tip. I really wouldn't have thought so otherwise. Honestly, when I read the comments, I'm like, isn't that wrong? But like some of the comments mentioned that it was a newer thing, so I had to test it out, and I'm glad I did. If you have any other things you'd like me to try or test in the latest update, let me know down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, you'll probably enjoy some more you can find right here on the end screen. Hope this video has earned your subscription. Anyway, this has been ScrapMan, and I'll see you next time. Bye.